I absolutely love this Ashton Jeanty pick that the Las Vegas Raiders made, and the Raiders over the last few months this offseason have made so many changes. There were some major shakeups in the first round of this year's draft, but one thing I did expect to happen was the Raiders selecting Jeanty, and that stayed the same. And the Raiders are getting a high motor running back that just bounces off tacklers, and he is going to help Geno Smith in so many ways. And now all of a sudden, the Raiders have a nice little core to build around, and the future is super bright. So in this video, I want to break down this Ashton Jeanty pick and what the Raiders are getting in him. I want to talk about how he can impact the team in 2025 and how Chip Kelly should use him. I'm going to give you guys the breakdown and scouting report on him, as well as some of his numbers in college, and also everything going on with the Raiders right now with day 2 of the draft coming up, and so much more. But before I begin, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. We are on the road to 50,000 subscribers, and with your support, I believe that we can get there super fast. Alright, so Ashton Jeanty's highlight reel is just unreal, and his motor is unreal. And the Raiders have a nice little backfield now with him and Mostert. I think the Raiders could still use a wide receiver later in the draft because Geno needs some help there, but Brock Bowers brings a lot to the team in terms of playmaking, and I think that is just stating the obvious. The Raiders will have Chip Kelly calling the plays in 2025, and I think this is perfect because Kelly was on the college scene last year at Ohio State, so I'm sure he knows all the ins and outs with Ashton Jeanty. The Buckeyes may have won over some film when preparing for their potential playoff matchups at some point. Jeanty is exceptionally difficult to bring down. He consistently breaks tackles and generates significant yards after contact. In 2024, he led the nation with 1,733 yards after contact, 590 more than any other FBS player, and he averaged 4.6 yards after contact per attempt. His compact 5'8.5", 215-pound frame gives him a low center of gravity and powerful lower body, making him a bowling ball runner who thrives on physicality, as we saw all year at Boise State. Jeanty is exceptionally difficult to bring down. He consistently breaks tackles and generates significant yards after contact. In 2024, he led the nation with 1,733 yards after contact, 590 more than any other FBS player, and averaged 4.6 yards after contact per attempt. Jeanty is also a patient runner, adept at letting his blockers set up lanes before accelerating through holes. He manipulates defenders with his eyes and footwork, showing advanced anticipation and decisiveness at the line of scrimmage. Jeanty's skill set fits both wide zone and pin pull gap schemes, while he's most decisive as a gap scheme runner. Kelly's use of outside zone and split zone concepts will allow Jeanty to leverage his vision and burst to reach the second level often. So expect Kelly to utilize split zone runs, often with Brock Bowers coming across the formation to seal the backside defender. This action will create wider rushing lanes for Jeanty and set up effective play action passes, keeping defenses off balance. Jeanty should be the Raiders' workhorse. Expect him to handle 300 plus touches as a rookie, and we should also see significant usage in the passing game as well. He'll be the primary goal line back and a frequent target on screens and checkdowns, taking advantage of his receiving ability that is super underrated. Moving on, let's talk about day 2 now. I know some Raiders fans are pretty mad at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for taking Emeka Egbuka off the board at pick 19, but there are still a lot of playmakers available to get at pretty much any spot the rest of this draft. So at pick 37, let's take a look at a wide receiver out of LSU by the name of Bech. Bech is definitely one of the more ideal outside fits to complement Brock Bowers and Jacoby Myers. Dealing with a high ankle sprain during his first season with the team, he finally broke out during his senior year. The Louisiana native led TCU with 62 catches for 1,034 receiving yards and 9 touchdowns in 12 games played. Listed at 6'1" and 214 pounds, he is a smooth route runner, a physical receiver, and he makes tough catches under duress. Bech has a profile eerily similar to former Los Angeles Rams Super Bowl MVP and All-Pro wide receiver Cooper Kupp, who was selected in the 3rd round of the 2017 NFL Draft, despite playing almost primarily in the slot during his first 2 collegiate seasons. The 22-year-old showed that he can thrive on the outside as well during his time with the Horned Frogs. He played 71.8% of his snaps on the outside during his final season per PFF. What stands out above all else when evaluating Bech is how reliable he is. Among all eligible receivers from this year's draft class, he had the lowest drop rate at just 1.1%. And I mean, just imagine what this Raiders offense could look like next season with Jack Bech, Jacoby Myers, Brock Bowers, Mostert, Jeanty, Geno, and an offensive line that is looking to be better than what they were last season. And with Pete Carroll taking charge, I think we are about to see a complete culture shift starting at the very beginning at training camp. Last season, with bad quarterback play, Brock Bowers had 112 catches with 1,194 yards, 5 touchdowns, and an average of 10.7 yards per catch. And now in 2025, he is a much better quarterback that is willing to take risks and sling the football around, and with more help around him, I expect his numbers to increase even more. We could possibly see a 1,300-yard season, and I want to see his touchdowns increase because last season, defenses just circled him and game planned for him in the red zone. But if there is more targets and more ways to score around him, all of a sudden, a whole new world of opportunity is going to open up. And in terms of Geno Smith, I've talked about him in previous Raiders videos over the last few months, but I really do think he is in the right situation to take off. His numbers are just so overlooked. I know he's kind of had a turnover problem and is often quick to make decisions behind center, which can be both a good and bad thing, but he was top 5 in the NFL in passing yards, and he's going to be very familiar with the system run by Pete Carroll. I'm not so sure how bought in I am on Geno being the long-term plan under center for the Raiders, but for right now, I think he's going to be fun, especially compared to what this team has had. Anyways, now moving back to the draft and looking at the 3rd round, I like Vernon Broughton, a defensive tackle out of Texas. There have been a lot of Texas Longhorns coming off the board and getting drafted, and I think that trend should continue here. The Raiders splurged for Christian Wilkins in free agency, but are weak at the other tackle. Broughton's size and power can give them some extra inside pass rush in the rotation. I'm definitely curious to hear what you guys think about this draft so far. Be sure to grade the Ashton Jeanty pick in the comments below, and just let me know how you are feeling, because this is an exciting time to be a Raiders fan. I know often the actual season is a letdown. Trust me, I get it. I am a Cleveland Browns fan, but if you're a Raiders fan, you should be and have every right to be excited, because it's been a while since this team has had some momentum. That's really all I have to say for this video. Again, let me know what you thought about this draft so far in the comments below. Even beyond just the Raiders, let me know if there were any surprises. I saw Jackson Dart just got picked by the Giants. That is definitely going to be a topic of discussion. But for the Raiders, it's definitely an exciting time to be a fan. This is going to be a team that I cover all offseason long and into training camp. So make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Hit that bell notification so you never miss another video. And until next time, I will see you all later.